So you're moving to Northern Virginia and you've heard a lot about some of the great things about living here, like world-class education system, unlimited career opportunities, and a great place to raise a family. And most people who move here absolutely love it. However, some people do move here and instantly regret their decision. So why would anybody regret moving here? Well, in this week's video, I'll share with you 10 reasons why you may regret moving to Northern Virginia. So stay tuned because we're getting started right now. Boom! Hey everybody, it's David, your favorite realtor, and welcome back to another video. So since I started this YouTube channel about 3 years ago, I've helped a lot of families relocate to Northern Virginia, and the majority of them absolutely love living here. However, sometimes people do move here and they kind of regret their decision to move to the area. Which makes sense because living in Northern Virginia is just not for everybody. So let's get it started right now with the first reason why people regret moving to Northern Virginia, and that's gonna be the high cost of living. So when you relocate to Northern Virginia, well, guess what? Your car payment will be exactly the same. Your Netflix and Hulu will be exactly the same. Your cell phone will be exactly the same. And even your car insurance and homeowner's insurance, it actually may even be less here compared to where you're coming from. However, there's gonna be one big ticket item that's gonna be a lot more expensive here compared to other parts of the country, and that's gonna be the cost of housing. Unless you're relocating from like LA, San Francisco, New York City, chances are when you see the Northern Virginia housing prices online, you're gonna go through instant sticker shock. So far in 2023, with the 4 major counties here in Northern Virginia, and that's gonna be Prince William, Loudoun, Arlington, and Fairfax counties, the average sales price of a house is $670,000. And most people obviously want single family homes, and you're not gonna believe this number, but the average sales price of a single family home so far in 2023 is $890,000. That is mind blowing. And if we go to the rental side, the average 3+ bedroom rental here in Northern Virginia comes out to $3,100 per month. So that makes Northern Virginia one of the most expensive areas to live in the whole country. So imagine if you're relocating here from, like, let's call it Phoenix, for example, and you bought a beautiful 3,000 square foot home there back in 2018 for like $400,000. And now you're moving to Northern Virginia and you kind of want the same style house that you had in Phoenix, or at least similar in size. Well, guess what? Now that $400,000 house, if you spend that same $400,000 here in Northern Virginia, that would be like a 2-bedroom condo. But if you're looking for that 3,000 square foot single family home here in Northern Virginia, expect to spend well over $800,000. So chances are you're relocating to Northern Virginia for work, so you're most likely get a nice pay increase. So you definitely want to make sure that pay increase will help subside for the higher cost of living here, because the last thing you want to do is pack your family, go across country, move here, and even though you're getting paid more, your quality of life has gone down. If you want to see a true perspective on the real cost of living right here in Northern Virginia, I did a video about 4 months ago where I break down my personal cost of living. I go over my mortgage payment, how much I spend on food and entertainment, how much I spend on taxes, insurance. I'll leave a link in the description. Definitely check that video out after you watch this one. The next reason why people regret moving to Northern Virginia is it's a complete different lifestyle here compared to where they're coming from. So Northern Virginia, it is not a blue-collar town, not one bit. This is a very affluent and career-driven area. The majority of people you meet around here, they're really in the middle of the rat race, and they're doing whatever it takes to take their careers to the next level. Since there's a lot of successful people here in the area, you see a lot of the keeping up with the Joneses. So you may go to work in your office and someone says, oh yeah, I'm going to Dominican Republic for vacation. Well, the next guy next to him is going to say, oh, you're going to Dominican Republic? Well, I'm going to go to Maldives, even better vacation. Or one person may say, oh, I just bought a townhouse in Arlington. Oh, you bought a townhouse? Oh, I'm going to buy a single family in Arlington. You get so many people here in this area trying to one-up their neighbor or their coworker or even their friends and family. So yes, Northern Virginia is very career-driven. A lot of people are very materialistic. So if you're coming from another part of the country where that's not the norm there, it can be very hard to fit into this new lifestyle. Now, the next reason why people regret moving here, and that's going to be the weather. So the weather here in Northern Virginia, it is literally all over the place. Mother Nature has a mind of her own. Right now, I'm filming this in February, and it is literally 75 degrees outside. That is probably the warmest I've ever felt in February. It should literally be snowing right now. And then tomorrow night, it'll be 28 degrees. That is almost a 50-degree change in temperature in just 24 hours. And in fact, there's a funny meme I always put in my YouTube videos that we don't actually have 4 seasons here. We have 12 seasons. And we're currently in the spring of deception. So yes, the weather's kind of all over the place here in Northern Virginia. During the springtime, we get a lot of rain. Also, you have the pollening. Like literally in April, if you have a black car, your car will be yellow. If you have a lot of allergies, the pollen's gonna be a big issue for you. And in the summertime, it's extremely hot, extremely humid. In fact, I fly to the Caribbean literally every single summer, and I always look forward to it because I always know it's gonna be a lot cooler in the Caribbean in the summertime compared to here in Northern Virginia. Also, in the summer, we get a lot of bugs. Mosquitoes are all over the place. So many times during the summer, I'm just hanging out on my rooftop terrace, having a nice cocktail with the wife, and the next day, I'll have mosquito bites all over my legs and arms. And then in the wintertime, it gets cold, it gets bitter, it gets brutal, and probably every 2 to 3 years, we get a huge blizzard. The next reason why people regret moving to Northern Virginia is they didn't do any research. So if you're just moving here and not doing any research, well, chances are you're gonna move to the wrong area. In Northern Virginia, it is a massive area. And most people don't know this, but Northern Virginia is actually bigger than the whole state of Rhode Island. So if you're just moving here on a whim with no research, chances are you will move to the wrong area. And if you move to the wrong area, well, guess what? You're definitely not gonna like living in Northern Virginia. Now, the best way to do research before moving to Northern Virginia is reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me email. We can do a live Zoom call one-on-one so we can go over your wants and needs and make your move here to Northern Virginia as easy as possible. And the second thing I always recommend before moving to Northern Virginia is come here for a scouting trip, at least a long weekend. Just drive around the whole area, find some great neighborhoods that you will consider living in, eat at the restaurants, go to the downtown, the town centers. That way you can get a feel of Northern Virginia's for you or not. Now, the next reason why people regret moving to Northern Virginia, and that's gonna be traffic. So traffic here in Northern Virginia, it can be absolutely brutal. Now, the rule of thumb is with traffic is the closer you get into DC, the worse it is. So traffic in Loudoun County is definitely not gonna be as bad as Fairfax County or Arlington County. Two highways you absolutely wanna avoid here in Northern Virginia, and that's gonna be 66 and 495. There seems to always be traffic on these highways, and I swear every time I'm on these highways, there's always an accident or there's always construction going on, which just adds to the traffic. I'll give you a real world example. My wife and I, we live here in Ashburn, Virginia, but she works in DC. Now, she only has to go in once or twice a week, so it's not that bad, but it takes her anywhere from 1 hour to an hour and a half on average. But if there's an accident, it can easily take her 2 hours to get to DC. Now, if you just cannot stand driving in stop and go traffic, and I understand, I don't want to be there either. Now, one great way to get around that is we have a fantastic metro system, especially since the metro just opened up in Loudoun County. So now, basically, all of Northern Virginia and DC is wide open via the metro. Now, the next reason why so many people regret moving to Northern Virginia is so many toll roads. Now, if you're going to commute to and from work, another way to kind of beat the traffic is to go on the toll roads, but they get very pricey. Now, me personally, I go on the toll roads all the time because I really value getting to my destination as quick as possible. My wife, on the other hand, though, there's a 0% chance she ever goes on any tolls. But I'm gonna share with you a real life example if you want to take the toll road to and from work. For this example, we're gonna go, let's say you live in Leesburg and you work in Arlington. To get from Leesburg to Arlington, you actually have to go on 3 different toll roads. The first toll will be the Dulles Greenway, so that right there would be $5.25. And then from there, you're on the Dulles Toll Road, and that'll be $4. And then you have to go on the 66 Express Lane, and that comes out to $19.25. So right there, just to get from Leesburg to Arlington, that's $28.50. And that's just one way. You got to get back home, right? So you're looking at $60 per day. And imagine if you do that 5 days a week, you're looking at over $1,100 per month just on tolls. That is an insane amount of money. Now, the next reason why people regret moving to Northern Virginia is they feel like it's too liberal or too conservative. So Northern Virginia is the suburbs of Washington, D.C., so you can imagine politics are a very hot topic around here. So some areas in Northern Virginia can be a little bit more conservative, and some other areas of Northern Virginia can be a little bit more liberal. Depending on what your political views are, this can be a pro or a con. So just keep in mind, your neighbor or even the whole neighborhood you live in may have different political views than you. But guess what? We are all adults here, so we all have to learn to get along regardless of our political views. Now, next on the list is going to be vehicle safety inspection and personal property tax. So basically, both of these are your yearly car inspection and your yearly car tax. And depending on where you're coming from, you're probably thinking to yourself, David, what are you talking about car tax and car inspection? Well, let's start off with a yearly car inspection. And this is actually the first time that I ever brought it up in any of my videos. So once a year, you have to take your car to like an auto repair place or a gas station, and they're going to do a full inspection of your car. It's going to cost anywhere from from $25 to $51. And according to Virginia.gov, these are some of the items that they're actually inspecting. Parking brakes, your brake lights, your headlights, your signal device, steering and suspension, tire, wheels, rims, mirrors, horn, and so much more. So it's legitimately a full-fledged inspection, and if you pass, you get a little sticker that goes on your windshield and is good for a year. So if you got a newer car, it's really not that big of a deal. It's kind of just more of a hassle having to drive there and leave your car there for a few hours. However, if you have an older car, this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. But back in my 20s, I didn't make a lot of money, so I had a much older car, needed a lot of repairs, but it still drove around, no problem. So every year I still had to get that car inspected. And every single year, the mechanic would always find something wrong with it, and that's money I had to give them. And if I chose not to do it, guess what? I would get a failure sticker. And if you want to get pulled over really quickly in Virginia, have a failure inspection sticker on your windshield, and you get pulled over just like that. That's hands down one of the biggest cons of these car inspections. You're kind of at the mercy of the car repair shop because they can nitpick on every single small repair item because they know you have to get those items fixed with them in order to get that safety inspection sticker. Then next we have everybody's favorite, the personal property tax. I am just kidding. So if you don't know, Virginia has something called a personal property tax. So if you have an airplane, a boat, a motorcycle, a motorhome, a camper, or a car, guess what? You have to pay a yearly personal property tax. Since the majority of people don't have boats or planes, and everybody has a car, everybody here for short just calls it a car tax. So every single year, you're gonna get a letter in the mail just like this from the county, and it's gonna have your personal property tax bill. So the way it works is it's $4.20 of every $100 of assessed value. So I'll use myself as an example. I have a Tesla Model 3. The assessed value of it for last year was $43,000. So my personal property tax bill came out to $1,800. Now this is hands down one of my least favorite parts about living in Virginia is paying this personal property tax. Because that $1,800, I'd much rather use that for basically anything else. I'd rather go on vacation, save that money, use that money to invest. So many other things I'd rather use instead of giving it to the county. Now the next reason why people regret moving to Northern Virginia is the grass is not always greener. So 90% of the people relocating to Northern Virginia, they're not coming here because they're practically choosing this area. They're coming here because of work. Either they got a promotion or it's a brand new job opportunity. And let's be real, change can be hard. Let's say you're relocating here from Denver, Colorado, for example, and you have your friends there, you have family there, your kiddos love their school, they have their own friends, you have your church there, and you're just used to that lifestyle. But you got a great job opportunity here. Let's call it making $60,000 more a year. You move here, and then you realize this area is just not for you and your family. You're really homesick and you just want to go back. I do see this a lot, unfortunately, because as we all know, Northern Virginia is not for everybody, just like other parts of the country is not for everybody as well. And I personally went through all of this as well. When I moved here from Florida back in the year 2000, it was a complete culture change and shock to me. It was so different here in Northern Virginia compared to what I was used to in Florida. And so many times throughout the first 4 or 5 years of me living here, I was this close to going back to Florida. But now 23 years later, I'm so happy I stayed here because there's no other place that I'd rather live than right here in Northern Virginia. If you want to learn more about living in Northern Virginia, check out these videos right here. They're gonna be great ways to continue your research, and I'll see you on the next video.